are Alfin,
Arinda,
and Safira.
We are
going to tell
About KTSP.
Before that, don't forget to click like,
comment,
And subscribe. Check it out.
So guys, I wanna ask you before, what do you know about curriculum? And what exactly curriculum is? Etymologically, curriculum comes from the Greek word kurir, which means runner, and kurere, which means a race. These terms have been used in ancient Romawi period in field of sport, especially athletics. Besides that, curriculum is also known in French in the word courir, which means running or a distance that must be traveled by a runner from the start to the finish and then get prize or medal as a reward. The distance that must be taken is then changed into a school program with everyone involved in it. Meanwhile, in terminology, curriculum means a number of subjects that must be taken by students in a certain period to obtain a diploma. The curriculum seen as a plan prepared to launch teaching and learning activities under the government guidance and responsibilities. One of the curriculum used in Indonesia is KTSP, which began to be used in this country since 2006. KTSP is defined as an idea about connecting the curriculum, which is placed in a position very close to learning, which is school with educational units. KTSP is a form of educational reform that gives up autonomy for school and educational units to develop the curriculum in accordance with the potential demands and needs of each. Next guys, I want to tell you about the aims of KTSP. In general, the aims of implementing KTSP is to independence and empower the education units through the granting of authority or autonomy to educational institutions. It also encouraging schools to work on participatory decision-making in a curriculum development. In addition, specifically, the aims of implementing KTSP is first, increasing the education through the independence and school initiative of developing curriculum, managing and empower the available resource. Second, increasing the concern of school residents and the community in developing curriculum through joint decision-making. And the third, increasing healthy competition among the education unit about the quality of education that have to be achieved.
curriculum consists of 4 designs. They are curriculum design disciplines, or known as academic subject curriculum. And then individual development curriculum, or we are familiar with humanistic curriculum. And curriculum oriented to people's life, or we are familiar with social reconstructions. And the last, technological curriculum. From those curriculum designs, the KTSP has these characteristics. First, KTSP is curriculum that oriented to disciplines. It is because the structure of the KTSP program, which contains some subjects that must be taken by students, and the KTSP success criteria are measured more by students' ability to master the subject matter. Second, KTSP is curriculum that oriented toward individual development. It can be seen from the principle of learning in KTSP that emphasize on the activity of students to search and find their own material through various approaches and learning strategies that are suggested. Third, KTSP is a curriculum that accesses regional interests. It is because the principles of KTSP are centered on the potential, development, needs, and interests of the student and their environment. Fourth, KTSP is a technological curriculum. It can be seen from the existence of competency standards. Basic competencies, which are described in indicator of learning outcome and assess students' behavior.
This time, I will explain about some of pros and cons through the implementation of KTSP, or we can call it as Curriculum 2006. First, the pros of KTSP is it provides an autonomy for each school or educational units. As we know, KTSP brings an improvement from the previous curriculum implementation. Previously, the curriculum, which was uniform throughout Indonesia, is inadequate to support the educational development for each school or educational units. It seems not quite effective since it did not see the real situation in the real fields, but only prioritized the general perspective of entire country of Indonesia. It means that the previous curriculum is less appreciate the potential of local advantage. Thence, the prison of KTSP was expected to provide a great opportunity for each educational units to be enabled to jointly formulate their own curriculum that suffice the needs of the situation and educational environment condition or situation. Next, the other pros is through the implementation of KTSP, the teacher or school units was given freedom to develop their own curriculum based on the certain condition and reason. It can encourage the teacher, also school principal or even the school management to further enhance their own curriculum through with their creativity or activeness in organizing educational program. It makes possibility for each school or teacher to emphasize and develop certain subjects as well as the teaching strategy to be as effective as the needs of the students, school objective, or some other particular educational purpose. And the other pros of KTSP is in accordance with the student. The curriculum reduces the burden of the student's learning process rather than the previous curriculum. The KTSP was created to make the curriculum to be simpler. The reason was in accordance with some experts' study that state that the learning time in schools is too much. It can make the students feel learning process is under the pressure. That's some of the pros of the implementation of KTSP that is beneficial for each student, teachers, schools, or even the educational environment as a whole. Then we move to the cons of implementation of KTSP. Besides the pros, this curriculum also gets some critics and comments within particular reason absolutely. First, lack of human resources are expected to be able to describe KTSP in most existing educational units. It was dealing with teachers' teaching competency and readiness and also affected by the previous curriculum implementation that was limiting the authority of the teacher and the school for developing their own teaching strategy. It was also dealing with the readiness of the school itself that might not capable to suffice the educational programs with sufficient facilities. Therefore, the curriculum was should be aware of the development of certain schools that was not enough prepared for improving their educational programs. The second cons is there was still many teachers who do not comprehend KTSP comprehensively in terms of organizing concept, composition, and even the practice in the field. It was caused by the socialization that seems not enough through deliver the detail of the KTSP or Curriculum 2006 itself. And the cause of KTSP, the next is also came with the pros that I said previously, but it is not dealing with the students, but it is dealing with the teacher. The reducing of time allocation affected the teacher's income. So because of the time that is reduced for learning in the school or in the classroom, it made the teacher get a lower income rather than before. I think that's all about some of pros and cons through the implementation of KTSP. Thank you.